Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner Football Fans podcast. You got Terry and Caleb here. Boomer Caleb. Rob is on the DL. Actually, he's not on the DL. He's stuck at the university doing the university thing. Something's going on at the Lloyd Noble Center he had to get ready for. So
I think they have a game coming up or something.
Yeah. So he was over there, sent me a picture of him doing work, which looked like absolutely no fun. But as always, Sooner Football Fans podcast is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. So,
and you're taking a visit this week, right? With all the recruits.
Yeah, we're taking our unofficial visit this week.
Are you a 5-star like everyone else is coming in, or
we think so?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
are
a
they
5-star.
rating us? We're getting rated.
I haven't got
stars.
ranked yet.
No, I'm saying the podcast reviews. They're 5-star ratings.
Yeah,
right?
we got 5. That's a good point,
Yeah,
Caleb.
So we are 5-star.
See, there you go. You guys have made us 5-star recruits out there. So we're 5-star recruits taking an unofficial visit. I put it out there for TFB Sooners, the Football Brainiacs, to see if they would help us rate something, but no response so far. So, but we're going to spend a little bit of time here before we get our weekly tailgate guest. This is our Tailgate Like a Champion. We've got a big tailgate coming on this Saturday. We'll start it at 9 a.m., go until game time, and then it'll kick back in when the game's over. Everybody's welcome to come out. We're on the corner of Jenkins and Brooks, right in the middle of all the tailgates in that. If you see all the tailgates around that corner, you got to walk into all of them. We're right there in the middle of them. We got a big crowd going to be there this time.
Ryan Russillo is going to be in town for this game this weekend.
Who?
Ryan Russillo, ESPN guy.
Oh, is he?
So, yeah. So, if he comes by tailgate, just be nice to him. He was at LSU last week, so we got to show him, step our game up and show we're better than LSU. Like we always are. But he's like, I heard on his podcast, he's going to be in town for Bedlam this weekend. So, that's
what does he do? Come around?
He's a big college football fan. So, like, he just travels the country sometimes.
Oh.
Like, 'cause he's right now, he's in between jobs, kind of, or he's doing 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So, he just travels around the country and goes big. He's at the Penn State, Ohio State game earlier. LSU, Bama last week, and now he's going to be at Bedlam this week. So we need to be loud and have a good time out there.
Yeah.
So we can get a good national ratings from everyone else.
But we got some of our regular folks that are going to be there, but then we got some people I'm not going to say yet because they're going to sneak their way in probably and hang out with us. But the last home game, we had a good crowd there, had a good time. Even if you don't have a ticket, you can come around there. We've got a TV showing the game that will have the game on, and there's also other tailgates around us that have TVs on that you can meander around to all the tailgates. Everybody's welcome to all of them, which is what's cool about the tailgates here at Oklahoma. Yeah, if you can walk around and sample food, they'll pour you a drink, do just about anything for you. Demo's right across the street from us, and go hang out with him for a bit, but looking forward to it. So let's get into this Oklahoma State game. Caleb, me and Rob kind of gave our 2 cents worth the other day. What do you think about this Oklahoma State team coming in?
They're like Jekyll and Hyde. They either like play really good or they play terrible. And I don't think it's going to matter whether they come up this week because I think OU's going to be on statement this week because I think they're both a little disrespected by the committee. And plus, the own team last week, they didn't really make a statement. So I think this is their week to make a statement showing that they belong in the playoffs because as of right now, they don't control their own destiny. So they have to do everything they need to get in the playoffs. So I think they're going to make a statement. So
what you're saying is Oklahoma waited a week to make their statement so it would stand out?
Well, I think it's just like, other big game is who was it? It's Clemson at Boston College, I think.
Yeah, Clemson, Boston College. Notre Dame as Florida State.
That's not a good game.
Is it?
Bama's playing Mississippi State, which that's. Yeah. But I think they went away a week though. But I think after seeing like how everyone else, people still doubt their defense and everything like that, I think they're making a statement this week. I think with just come out and like I said, Justice Hill's one of the best running backs in the country. We shut him down. That's a huge statement. By itself. So
I want to toot Rob's horn a little bit. Too bad he's not here to get to hear it. But Rob has said part of the thing that's going to help us out coming down to the wire with the committee is that people want to see Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler. It's going to come down to those two for the Heisman, and I was reading an article today. I believe it was in USA Today, but don't quote me on that. But it was the different scenarios for what could happen with the playoff committee, and it had all these different stupid scenarios. But it said, what the SEC wants to see, what this wants to see, but then it said what the people, what we want to see, what the fans want to see. It was Alabama, Clemson. I want to say it was Michigan and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they said everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see Kyler Murray and Tua go at it.
Yeah, because you got Michigan probably maybe has the best defense in the country. Probably has the best defense in the country. They got Clemson, has like probably the best unit in the country with their defensive line, and then you got the two best offenses in the country with Oklahoma and Alabama going at it. So that's probably the most entertaining situation right there. So I mean,
but they actually stated that Oklahoma, if we win out and make some statements in the winning out, we'll get the Big 12 championship. That because of that, the best teams, which most people. And even they did a poll. They said where most people felt Oklahoma was one of the top 4 teams.
I think they are, but it's just I don't think Notre Dame's as good.
But they said that matchup may be what helps Oklahoma jump somebody that maybe a one-loss team never would have done. Mm-hmm. But it all depends on what Oklahoma does out there scoring.
And if we shut down and we still go to Morgantown, we beat them say 58-21. That's a huge statement.
Right.
But, I mean, if something like that happens, it's possible. But besides that, we need a lot of help though, probably because that's just.
Well, Georgia's going to lose.
They're going to lose. We need them to lose. If they win, then we're definitely screwed. Because Bama's for sure getting in now for how much they love them.
Yeah. Then, Georgia. So we're going to be 5 coming down the.
2
the
games
pike.
you got to watch is next week. Notre Dame going to Syracuse, and then. The big game, Michigan going to Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big ones.
And then they'll have to play in a championship game. They could lose it.
Well, they're probably playing unranked. They're probably playing Northwestern in the championship game. So, but they almost lost Northwestern. So I mean, they should have lost Northwestern, so you never know. But we have to play against probably West Virginia. Well, if we beat West Virginia and Iowa State wins out, we'll play Iowa State. So
yeah, which would be an interesting matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Iowa State's much improved from what they were when we played them. But
a little more confident and everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
And what's your take, Caleb, on all this the Texas whiny bitch stuff that's been going on?
It's again from a coach. I guess someone put a picture of Lil Humphreys doing the horns down on a recruiting trip before.
Yeah,
so that's kind of funny. But I mean, it's just okay, so if you don't like that, then why is your coach on the sidelines last year against Missouri walk around with the backpack on? Like making fun of him, and then why you throw the horns up then after a touchdown? That's disrespectful against teams playing against.
Yeah.
Also, when we play OU, why do your fans chant OU sucks? That's disrespectful too. So I mean, I don't know. Herman's just an idiot. I mean,
but then his team jumped on it. Erlander,
Ellinger, then the Humphreys. I mean, they're all. I guess they're following the leader. I guess. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get their asses beat. Well, that Tech kid's probably gonna play, but next week they play Ohio State. Hopefully they get their asses beat.
What Tech kids?
With the quarterback.
He got
released from the hospital.
He's going to be at practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll play though.
That's what I was listening on the radio. One of the.
If he does, that's crazy. It's 2 collapsed lungs in a month. So I mean.
And why would you even go to practice? Just sit out the rest of the year. Let yourself heal.
He's a freshman, and he's good. So I mean, I guess they're a decent team this year too. I mean, Kingsbury definitely saved his job this year. So I mean, I don't know. So it's just. That Texas stuff is pretty funny, though.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
It's kind of taken some Oklahoma fan focus off of Oklahoma State, which has been kind of different, at least on Twitter, because everybody's
Oklahoma State's not good.
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma State's not good at all. Even Oklahoma State fans, they're chirping a little bit, but they don't really believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
They don't think they're going to beat us. They know it's going to take a miracle, us play our worst game, and them to play their best game to beat us.
Right. Now, we're going to throw this out there and let you explain your way out of this. That when you were a child, you were an Oklahoma State fan.
I was an Oklahoma State fan. It was mostly because, what was I? I used to wrestle. That was one part of it. And Oklahoma State is a wrestling school. And that's one part I liked them. Also, biggest reason why, though, is we got NCAA football. My dad played as OU. He always beat me and it pissed me off. So that year I just didn't like OU at all. And whoever beat them as a team I was gonna like, and the only team that beat them that year was OSU. That was the 2001 year.
Yeah.
So that's the only team that beat OU. That's the only team I liked. Like, anyone that beat them that year, I was going to root for. So it could have been anyone. It could have been Baylor. It could have been anyone. The only team beating that year was OSU.
So what brought you around? What did I do?
You didn't do anything. I was still wrestling. I wrestled for Team Oklahoma. We used practice at the stadium. I wrestled there. And I was actually with Sterling Shepard. Like, we were getting him into wrestling a little bit at the time. He was just going out there practice with us, like running around, working out a little bit with us. And on the way up to one practice, we ran into Quentin Griffin. And Sterling knew who he was because he's on sidelines, and so he kind of recognized him at first. I thought Quentin Griffin was tiny, but I was also like 8 years old, so he looked huge to me. I didn't think it was him until we walked up to him and started talking to him. And ever since then, that's when I started cheering for OU when I met Quentin Griffin about 2 years later.
So it's Q's
Q is the reason why, because I met him. He was real nice. He was real cool. Then, like, I don't know. I just started, like, it was just, I was being petty for 2 years, and finally I just got over it.
It was your rebellious stage.
Yeah, I was rebellious. I was just real petty.
There's even a picture put away of Caleb and Les Miles.
Yeah, I was wearing my Team Oklahoma. Like, I was wearing OU singlet, and he took a picture with me still.
It was funny the look on his face when.
Yeah. I told him I was OSU fan. I think like that. He didn't believe me because I was wearing the OU singlet at the time. Like, this is my team. But I mean, yeah, I was OSU fan for 2 years, and that was the year that Jason White won the Heisman, and the year they won the Rose Bowl. The year they lost to OSU, and then the year they beat Washington State. With the 2 years I was an OSU fan. So Sam May's team, I liked him for a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. So you.
But still, yeah.
But no more. You don't like any orange.
Oh no, I hate all orange teams. Every team that has orange on it's just gross.
Yeah.
Only one that was decent was the Thunder Sunset uniforms. I'm not a big Thunder fan, but I thought those Sunset uniforms were pretty nice. That's pretty much the only orange I've ever bought.
Yeah. So, what are your predictions for the? Well, let's do it. You're a young man, 26 years old, right? I got that right.
26.
Yes. I rarely know how old my kids are, but what is, in your 26 years, your favorite Bedlam memory?
Oh, it has to be the one. Was it the one when we sealed the playoff berth? We're at OSU. I think it's Baker's first year starting. We played against Clemson that year. Was it 3 years ago? That was the best one because that was just a beatdown, and we just beat the living hell out of OSU that game. And like we knew if we won that game, we're going to the playoffs. Yeah. And that was just a total, utter just domination of that game. The whole crowd. That was the Rudolph year with the reindeer guy too. Yeah. So I mean, it was just perfect, and it happened so fast too. And the game was over in the first quarter. We just kept piling on them. Like, that was definitely my favorite one. Yeah, that one was my favorite one. Then my first Bedlam game I went to, I was in high school, and the first half was a punt fest. And the guy behind me just kept yelling, "Our punter's kicking your ass." That's all we kept doing the whole game. Both of us just kept punting. We kept him in the 5-yard line for the first half, and finally second half we took over and won.
We won pretty big that game.
I think so, yeah. But that first half though, we just kept, it was just punt. But we kept him inside the 5-yard line. So the guy kept yell every time he punted, he kept yelling that. So that was another good one too. But that game against OSU at OSU, we still our fate to go to playoffs. That was definitely my favorite one.
Now, I put a tweet out today. I was going to talk to Rob about it, but since you're here, talk to you and Rob about it, about the P. Ryan kneel down.
Well, so I saw RJ, but that cost a lot of people a lot of money right there, too, because I'm not sure if we covered right there or if that was like the over. But it was one of the two. I'm pretty sure it might have been the over because I think we started blowing them out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that was
the one that was like close to halftime, and that's when Gundy froze them for halftime, I think, right?
And we just blew them away. And
Mixon just took over the second half.
Did it make you mad that he took a knee?
I didn't really care. I was like, I mean, it been. I thought it was funny because like it's just like I thought it was a little bit like salt in the wound a little bit. Like I could have scored on you, but
yeah,
I pity you, so I just like it's a knee right here.
Yeah, I remember I was so mad, but then I laughed about it.
That's also why like P. Ryan's good, but he's not. No, that's AD or Mixon or one of the great running backs.
You high step in,
rub it in your face. Like I like P. Ryan's a great guy. He's a good running back, but.
Yeah, that's
a little difference from being good and great. Right
but see, that's a lot like the A&M game several years back. Here in Oklahoma, it was like 77-0, and there was like 3 minutes left in the game, and Oklahoma drove down and was inside the 5, and it was first down. They did a quarterback sneak, and then the second down, Bob had them take a knee, and somebody, I remember he talked about the dilemma he was in was somebody on the headphones says, we can't do that.
Right, that's more embarrassing.
Yeah, Bob, we got to score. We got to run a play.
Especially in those days too, with the BCS era.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that. It's us taking a knee with this amount of time. We're going to give them the ball back.
Yeah, score.
Just score and kick off. And he said it was a dilemma, but he said I thought about it, and yeah, we need to score. Taking a knee and giving them first and 10 on the 1 is just ridiculous.
The Peter thing at least was smart because unlike Gurley a couple weeks ago, he actually let the guy tackle him, and he could have got the ball stripped right there, or he could have got hurt. At least Peter he stopped and took a knee right there.
Yeah.
So at least he was being smart. But I mean, I guess it was kind of funny because that second half, the first half was a close game, and that second half pretty much we just dominated them, and that was just a little cherry on top of us. Just all right, you're little brother, you had your fun.
Yeah.
Now go back in your room.
So. You got one of your best friends is a Texas fan. You got any Oklahoma State fan friends?
I guess the Denby brothers. I know Ryan still loves Oklahoma. I don't talk to him as much, but I know he's still big on OSU. There's one guy I used to work with. He was a graduate there, but now from I see from Facebook, he's an OU fan now. I think because his girlfriend. So I guess that's how it works. I don't know. I mean, he always talk crap to me every time. This is in 2011 when they actually were good. And that was very annoying because he didn't know anything about football, but he's one of those fans that know anything, but he just always just yelled a lot.
Yeah.
So that was. I don't think anyone else though. I don't know at work. There's OSU fans, so I'm not around them as much.
That's a good thing.
I'm sure you're around them probably a lot.
Yeah, don't really have any at work. I have had them at work, but I got a buddy that used to work for me years ago, and we started it when he worked for me, and it was the year that Oklahoma got beat. I don't remember what it was, several years back. I know
first time I lost, we're at a wrestling tournament, because that's OU was undefeated, and maybe the best team in the country.
Yeah,
and
but this guy tweeted.
No, you were mad too because I didn't do good at wrestling tournament either, and he missed the OSU game, and I think I lost the first two matches. I was done early. I was just I was in a slump that week.
So. Well, but this guy. Texted me pistols firing when it was over, and and then of course that week. Well, every year after that, I would text him pistols misfired, didn't they? And last year when we won, and because I've been texting him, and that's the only time I text him. It's the only time we talk, and I texted him, and he replied back, "Who is this?" And I said, "Terry." And he goes, "Oh, man, my last phone blew up." And he goes, "I lost all my numbers." He goes, "I thought this is either my father-in-law or my best friend's dad, Jim or whatever his name was, or Terry. And I'm sure it's not Terry." He said, I can't believe you." I was like, "Oh, no. Yeah, you will get this the rest of your life." Yep. So it's just how it is.
Well, it's kind of like what Android, whenever they play Texas, their Galen's brother or something calls them, and every year he calls them and sings a fight song to them. Yeah, leaves a voicemail, but whenever they lose, he won't answer his phone.
Yeah, he won't answer his phone. So yeah. But so what's going to happen this week, Caleb? What are your predictions?
Like I said, I think we need to make a statement this week because one, we're behind the 4 teams in the polls. We got to be impressive, and so the one knock they have on us is their defense, which I guess. But I think it's going to be. I think Kyle's is going to go out. I think Justice Hill tweet's going to piss off the defense a little bit too.
Yeah.
Or Instagram. So I think it's going to be around. I'm always go 63 to 24. I think. So I think we need a blowout. I don't think OSU is very good, and so I think it's just a perfect storm for OU just to be doing crap out of them.
Yeah, yeah. They got a chance the next 2 weeks to make a huge statement. 2 big blowouts because we got Oklahoma State and Kansas.
Yeah.
And then go up and manhandle the Mountaineers.
That Virginia game does scare me a little bit more after that Tech game because Will Greer can pass the ball really well, and that Stills kid is really good.
Yeah. But our offense is pretty good. So
I'm not worried about our offense at all. I'm just worried about if we do 3-man rush and that have Greer pick us apart with that because that Stills kid is going to catch over everyone we have out there.
Well, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a pretty big beatdown. I don't know about 60, but I think we'll probably be 45, 50 range.
I mean, we scored like 54 last week, and so it was a down week for OU. So
Yeah.
I mean, I expect with how good this offense is, I expect it to score 60 points every week.
Yeah.
I think that's how good our offense is. So I mean, when they don't score 60, I'm like, all right, it was a good game, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean that's how that's how good they are, because they should score every time they have the ball.
Yeah.
Because that's how no one in this league can guard us. Like maybe play against like Michigan, like yeah, maybe 45 points because their defense is really good.
Would you bring that up? Did you see what Feinbaum said today?
What do you say?
He said something like Alabama would beat Oklahoma by 50.
Yeah. Well, I think he also said that OU wouldn't score more than like 20 points against Georgia last year either. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's just SEC people. They always say that, but then like
I've got to get.
I do think they'll score on us at will, but I think we will like.
Yeah, we'll score.
They might beat us 70-55. But I mean,
or might be less like the Georgia game.
It could be higher scoring than that, just because.
Yeah, but I mean, it will be a score fest.
Yeah,
and 75 to 72 will be the final score.
I'm sure that will make SEC people love that game.
Yeah, but well, we got to get to our folks. I'm going to make Caleb sit here and talk to Adrienne about beer, and then he's got to get up early and do his work stuff. Well, tomorrow because we record this at night. But let's get Adrienne on and see what beer she has for us today. All right, Sooner fans. As always, we have the self-proclaimed queen of tacos and beer. Isn't that what it is? Or self-proclaimed?
It's the goddess.
Goddess, queen, golly. Self-proclaimed goddess of tacos and beer. Our favorite Forest Witch, Adrienne. Boomer, Adrienne.
Boomer.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good night.
Oh, we're doing just fine. I drug Caleb on. He's going to get to talk to you, so y'all probably have some pretty good beer stories for each other.
Hi, Caleb.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, Caleb's a craft beer person like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Not a big IPA guy.
It's a real shame he has to be here tonight.
I know, right? I'm not a big IPA guy. I'll drink IPAs every now and then, but like that to be right. That'd be the right move for him. But besides that, I like a blonde or a Belgium or an ale, stuff like that. So I mean, that's what I normally like. Something lighter, a little sweet. That's what I normally like with my beers. I drink real fast too, so like that's why. Because like I get IPA and I drink it with like a normal beer, and that's just not good.
And Caleb also does not drink while he eats.
Yeah, I won't eat at all while I drink. It's just I don't know. I get too full, and I just rather get drunk than eat. And then I sober up a little bit.
Sometimes I pull that too, but it usually ends poorly.
Well, I know I do eat. I sober up a little bit, and then I go in for round two.
But he'll sit there and not order beer and eat his dinner, and then when he's done,
that's the opposite. I drink until I feel I'm good enough, and then I order my dinner, and then I go at it again because I feel refreshed.
Yeah, that's a solid plan, though. I kind of roll with that. But sometimes, like if I'm out for tacos, I like to have a beer with my tacos. Usually because it's still happy hour.
Like tacos, I could do with tacos. Like when it's like chicken or like heavy food, I can't do stuff like tacos. I can do that. Like I want to go to Torchy's. Like I get like.
Exactly. You go to Torchy's for Taco Tuesday. You make it during happy hour.
Yeah.
Your taco's $1.25. Your beer's $1 off.
Yeah. And then you get 72 of their deep fried chocolate chip balls or chocolate chip dough balls.
Chocolate cookie dough.
I have never ordered those.
Really
good. My God.
might be the best thing on the menu.
I guess I need to try them, but I've never ordered those.
Have you ever asked for the secret menu? It's not really a secret, but it's kind of a secret menu over there on Torchy's.
Adrienne?
Hello?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever, the secret menu from Torchy's?
I didn't know that they had a secret menu. No.
You just got to ask them for it.
Yeah,
it's
just ask them for it.
Yeah, it's like it's on their register at the bar. Those could be like a thing. It actually has I think it has the best tacos are on the secret menu. Like,
but you have to ask for the secret menu.
You have to ask for it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So next time you go, ask for the secret menu.
Yeah.
I can hear Terry really good. I can't hear Caleb as well.
I don't know.
Okay, get the mic closer to your face.
Cutting out on him a little bit.
Can you hear me better now? Still?
Yes. I low-key thought it was my phone at first, so I tried to move.
Oh, well.
But I'm sitting in my normal spot in the mom cave. So.
In the mom cave.
Yes.
But, yeah, so, first off, Do we really want to talk about last week, or do we just want to make all of our focus on hating Oklahoma State in this week?
The only thing I'll say about last week is I'm super glad we won, and I still hate Lubbock.
But you didn't even go this year.
I did not go because I didn't need my car vandalized or any profanity yelled at me in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Is that what they throw tortillas at you too, or?
Yeah, I didn't need tortillas thrown at all those wasted potential tacos.
I know.
They're just a bunch of heathens.
That's probably why you hate them more than anything else, right? Because all those tacos are being wasted.
That's exactly why I hate them. How are you going to be such a heathen like that?
And batteries too. Like, you can use batteries to save someone's life. You never know.
Yeah, I forgot they throw batteries too.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't see or experience any battery throwing, but let me tell you something. I get assaulted with a battery, and I'm probably going to Lubbock jail.
Well, Caleb doesn't know that they vandalized your car the last time you were there, too, huh?
Yeah.
So
I'm about to crack open the official Okie Light beer here.
Okay, what? Before we do this, I got to ask you the serious question, though.
Okay.
What do you call a beautiful woman on the arm of an OSU fan?
I have no idea.
A tattoo.
Oh, that's fabulous! I love it.
I have OSU jokes, so that's been the theme for me this week.
Well, there's nothing wrong with OSU jokes, so I lovingly call Okie Light.
Yeah.
And I put it out to Twitter. I took the 4 crummiest light beers I could think of, and I said, which one of these beers reminds you of Oklahoma State? The choices were Coors Light, Natural Light, Bud Light, and Busch Light. And Busch Light won.
You didn't throw out some old
Here's
milk.
your tailgate like a champion Okie Light beer this week.
You didn't throw out some like Old Milwaukee's Best Light or something like that.
I didn't even know that existed. I didn't.
I would.
In fact, I accidentally put just plain Busch, which I didn't think was a thing either, but apparently it is.
Yeah.
Well, they have great commercials.
I accidentally left the light off a Busch. And apparently you can get this both ways. You can get fatty or lighty in a Busch. So.
Yeah.
My
Anyway.
least favorite is Miller Lite. I hate Miller Lite. That's the one beer I just can't stand. I don't know why. So I can drink anything else. Miller Lite's the one beer that's like, it just doesn't taste good to me.
Yeah, I know. Those were just the 4 crummy beers I could think of. Now, I also asked in my poll later on, I asked, which one of these beers do you think I've never tried? Because there is one on that list I've never drank.
I'm going to say, which one was it?
Coors
Natural Light?
Coors Light.
Natural Light.
No.
That was it. Natty Light, Busch Light, Bud Light.
It was the Natural Light. I've
Natural
never
Light.
had a Natural
I was right.
Light.
Natural Light's,
and thank goodness this poll didn't make me try it.
So you know you're hating on Blinkin Riley's beer of choice, don't you?
Exactly. Now I realize this is the official Blinkin Riley beer, and I have to wonder if all of that math stat stuff he does like ruins some part of his brain that assists him in picking something better.
Yeah.
And I worry about him now because I don't do a lot of math. I do a lot of reading, and therefore my beer drinking is great, and he does a lot of math. So I don't think I'll start in on the math.
And that boy can drink some Busch Light, because when he came over for our little tailgate thing, or barbecue, he came over, him and his buddy. They didn't just bring an ice chest. They brought one of those deep sea fishing ice chests, that you measure.
Yeah, like a huge.
That has the measurement for fish on the top of it, like 3 foot long, and it was full.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was full.
A lot of Busch Light. I just have the 116-ounce can, and I'm going to tell you the story of how I acquired this.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm going to call it the walk of shame because that's exactly how I felt. I went to the corner store by my house, which I rarely stop in there unless I'm getting gas, and I never go inside. So I go inside, and I have to find the big tub. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the tub where they have individual cans of beer. I thought to myself, what is the most ridiculous way to find an individual can of Busch Light? Oh, this is it. So I meander into the convenience store, and I get this beer, and I walk up to the counter, and the man looks at me, and he says, anything else for you? And I said, no. And so he rings it up, and he tells me it's $1.29. So I'm like, oh, I look at my purse and I'm like, I have a 20, I have a 10, and I see like I still have a whole bunch of quarters from my last trip to Oklahoma that I used on the toll road. In the bottom of my purse, so I fish out $1.50 in quarters, and I pay for this beer with it. And then he puts it in the tiny brown sack of shame and hands it to me. And I walk out with it and I go home. This story gets better. I get home, and of course, I have a 15-year-old son I lovingly call the dictator. And I walk in and I've got this can of beer in my hand with the little brown paper sack, and he says, What is that? I said, oh, it's a can of Busch Light. And he's like the beer? I said, yeah. He's like, just one? And I said, yes. And he said, did you get fired today?
So he knows Mom never drinks a beer. Is that what you're saying?
Apparently this is the official beer of shame and unemployment at my house.
Well, it's cheap, so it's easy to buy.
So if you ever see me posting on Twitter that I'm drinking Busch Light, you'll know that I got fired from the boat store.
Yeah. So have you cracked it open yet?
I did crack it open. I'm about to get a drink of it, and I'll let you guys know what I think.
Take a slurp.
Here's a cheat code. Next time you get crappy beer like this, what I get like the beer salt. I don't care what people say. It makes it taste decent. I get beer salt. I just dump it all in there, and then it tastes somewhat good. That's what I normally do when I'm broke and I want some beer.
Well, I'm just going to say that if I were going to order something out, it wouldn't be that.
You're not going to be descriptive like you always are.
But you know what? I can really feel this being a solid establishment tailgate beer to bring.
Chug it
in a ginormous deep sea fishing ice chest.
Yeah,
it's a beer you chug because it kind of has no taste to it.
And I would suggest 4 or 5 shots of bourbon before you get into it. You'll never notice the difference.
It's one of those beers.
I wish I had 4 shots of bourbon.
It's one of those beers that once you get like somewhat tipsy, it's just like water because it has no flavor to it. So you just chug it.
Yeah, it's like if you go and you buy one of them sparkling waters that maybe went bad because you left it in the hot sun for several days, it might be similar to that.
Yeah.
So there's Busch Light's new slogan: the sparkling water that no longer sparkles. Busch Light.
Okay, that's it. I got another drink of it, and I can't drink any more of that.
I'll tell you, just buy some beer salt, and I'll get some lemon juice and pour lemon juice in there, and it tastes decent.
What's the difference in beer salt and table salt?
Beer salt's like I said, it's lime. It's lime salt, lime salt, lemon salt, and then there's like a mango salt too. Now they have out. So
yeah, see.
I mean, I'm just gonna rank this up there with the frozen margaritas, which I consider is Pepsi OK of the margarita world. This beer is Pepsi OK of the beer world.
Yeah. Well, see here.
It's not okay, and this beer is not okay.
Well, see, back in my day, okay, you used to be able to buy a suitcase, is what you called them, which was a case of beer, but it looked like a suitcase. Of Busch beer for $9.99. Okay, $8.99 and $9.99. So when you're below the drinking age, and even when you're
already having to give somebody money to go buy it,
right?
For you. I see where you're going here.
You and your buddies have together $15. Well, you can get a case of Busch beer and a pack of cigarettes. And then 3 candy bars, because a pack of cigarettes back in those days was 75 cents. And,
okay.
Yeah. So, but we had a buddy that I'm not going to say his name because he does listen to the podcast, so he's going to know who this is. Okay. But back in the day, he was one of our running buddies' friends. I mean, one of our running buddies' cousins. Okay. And we'd always go over to his house if we couldn't get somebody to buy beer. Now, he would either go buy us beer, but if he wanted to party with us, because he had a wife and kids, if he wanted to party with us, he would always, tell us to stay. We'd always stay some, okay? We would never just run off, okay? But there were sometimes he'd bite. He knew we had stuff to go do and everything. But this guy was not about beer quality. He was all about beer quantity, okay? Because we would give him $20 and tell him, go get us 2 suitcases of Busch beer. And sometimes he would come back with 8 cases of Old Milwaukee's Best or Schaefer Light.
Ew.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was stuff worse than this, but
Oh, there
apparently
is.
there is.
Oh, there is.
And I'm so thankful that I would rather just cure my alcoholism than start drinking it.
Yeah. So, but basically, we just had this theory and it usually would work. We would just down a couple of them, and we would just start playing quarters, and then it just didn't really matter.
Once you get drunk, like I said, they don't taste like anything. They just go like water. That's what makes them dangerous, though, because you don't taste them. And it's just you just drinking like water.
Yeah, not that my friends and I would have ever paid anybody to purchase us alcohol, but we were more the clear plastic vodka people.
A Burnett's person.
Because you could go through the Sonic and get one of those giant drinks and then just keep pouring it into there.
Yeah.
Not that we would do that.
Oh, what? Everybody's done that.
All right, I would say when I was underage, I may or may not have had a $180 fake ID that worked very well for me.
That's a solid plan. I didn't really know the kind of shady people that could get me a fake ID.
That may have scanned and may have blacklight on it. I'm not saying I did have that, but I might have had one of those.
And he might have got it at a institution here in Oklahoma that is highly favored. So, if that tells you anything,
it was. It got me through. It may have got me through the age of 18 to the age of 21, and it may have worked very well.
But see, Adrienne, here's another funny story: is Caleb used to not like beer.
I hated beer. In the high school, when I went to parties, if they had beer there, I drank whiskey, and so when at the parties, they had beer there. I would just chill. I'd be like, all right, I'm the driver tonight. That's fine, because I thought it tasted gross.
So now, Caleb, share with her how you became to like beer.
For my graduation present, my brother asked that he can either come down here and spend like a week with me, Oklahoma, or he can take me to Germany for Oktoberfest. So I was smart.
Oh my God! Well, there you go.
Yeah, I chose Oktoberfest, and when I went there, I bought a lot of whiskey while I was there. And then I was there 3 days, and we went to opening day of Oktoberfest, and I was like, their mugs there are a liter big, and the proof is like 18% alcohol, so it's like a full 6-pack, something like that. So I got halfway through mine, and I was just like, I'm done. I don't want this no more. I don't like beer. My brother looked at me. He's like, I brought you all across the world to come Oktoberfest with me. If you want to drink that beer, I'm going to kick your ass from everyone here, which he would have done. And so I took that mug, I chugged it, and ever since then, I love beer.
Well, you know what? I kind of grew to love beer in Germany, too. My high school graduation gift, my grandma's from Germany.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
She's passed away now, but I've been to Germany a few times because that's where her home was. And so for our graduation present, my cousin had graduated nursing school and I had graduated high school. So the first time we went was 1997 and I was 18. And we get over there and my cousin Martin and Johan are like 18 and 20, kind of our same age. And Grandma tells them, oh, take the girls to do something fun. We went on a pub crawl.
Nice.
There you go.
all the way through several towns on the train. Not just like the town she lived in, but several towns on the train, pub crawling. And we got back at 4 a.m, and I thought she was going to kill all 4 of us.
Was she mad?
But
that's kind of where I developed my love of really good beer, too.
Well, see, you and Caleb have something in common.
I mean, because that's when I came back. I was looking for that beer. I couldn't find it. I said it was fresh from tap too, so it could never be that good because we legitimate got it right when they opened the Oktoberfest, so they opened it. But my favorite thing about Germany too, though, is like a lot of things. Like Germany's really cool. It's clean. It's like nice, and but my favorite thing there though was they actually sell Coke cans, Coke and Jack cans, just like at convenience stores. There's a can of Coke with Jack in it. Jack Daniels. Haven't seen that here in the States yet still.
Yeah, you go in and you can get a can of Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke, yep.
Pre-mixed.
Anyone can buy it.
Oh, and we thought we had it good in America, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do love a lot of things about Germany, but I do love home, too. So
Yeah.
There's plenty of stuff to love in both places, but I've had some really great times in Germany drinking some beer,
So what's going to happen this weekend? Is Oklahoma going to put a first-class butt whooping on them, or are we going to struggle like we did last week?
No, I really think that we come out and we really kind of just take over. I think that, we I felt like maybe just a little bit we kind of slept on Texas Tech a little, and it was a road game that we hadn't really played before. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of nerves. I don't think that'll be the case. We're going to be at home. We're going to be in our own stadium. I think that Oklahoma State's playing awful.
Their coach has got a
I really think
mullet,
that we kind of really take over the game. I don't think that they won't score any points, don't get me wrong. I just think that we're going to take over the game. It's not going to start like it did last time.
So do you like Gundy's mullet?
I do not like his mullet. That is just an awful haircut.
Why does it remind you of you dated a guy with a mullet, didn't you?
No, I absolutely did not, because I am very classy.
So you're calling my wife not classy? I used to have a mullet, okay?
No, I'm not calling you unclassy. I did not grow up actually in the time when the mullet was like the thing.
Yeah.
I was a little bit too I wasn't ready to date in the 80s because I was like a child.
It's all Joe Elliott from Def Leppard and Billy Ray Cyrus's fault. Those are the guys with the
neither
first
one
mullets.
of those dudes are like on my radar of things that are like anything I would have ever enjoyed. And as far as being classy, that was a lie too. I'm kind of not. But but I would never date anybody who looked
we know
like
that
Mike Gundy.
we know that we see your Twitter tweets, okay?
Exactly. But I would never date anybody who looked like Mike Gundy. Like, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even give my number to that guy. I mean, I told a guy wearing UT gear that I had better standards and I didn't like men who went to UT, so.
Man, he could have been a doctor.
I don't care. We don't have enough common ground.
I do like Dana's half mullet thing he has going. Dana Holgerson's mullet thing.
West Virginia's coach.
Yeah, he has a bald head, but he has a mullet going to the back,
and it's all curly and messed up. I want to get a pair of scissors and cut his.
No, it looks awesome.
Okay, but I expect that because he lives in West Virginia and looks like he's about to sell you a used Accord.
And he came from OSU too. Like, he was Gundy's offense coordinator. But I like Dana. Dana's funny.
I mean, that I expect that from people in West Virginia. We don't need any help in Oklahoma looking any worse, okay? So cut your damn hair and act like a grown-ass man when you do press conferences.
He likes vodka.
He doesn't like Twitter.
Smoothies.
He doesn't like Twitter, though. It's for poor people. That's what he said.
Yeah, he doesn't like Twitter. He doesn't like poor people. He doesn't like recruiting or winning.
He must hate all of his fans, then.
Yeah, and he's going to...
But, hey, they keep overpaying him, so, do your thing, buddy.
They'll probably get a raise again this year. Maybe, won't go a bowl, but they'll probably still give him a raise.
Yeah. He's the best coach they've ever had, and that's not... He
is.
That's not an exaggeration.
Oh, my gosh, I think this beer is about to make me sick, honestly.
Are you still drinking it?
No, I only got the 2 drinks of it, and now I'm going to die from it. I know.
Oh.
Like, it's not mixing well with my dinner and my peanut butter cookie.
Ugh. Does any beer mix with a peanut butter cookie?
Well, I ate the peanut butter cookie like an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
I didn't wait this time, so I wouldn't be starving. But no, Mike Gundy, he irritates me. And I still don't even know what the hell, when Coach Stoops retired, what that even was, his goodbye to Coach Stoops. What was that, you weirdo?
That's just him.
He just does so many off-the-wall things, and it's kind of like watching a train wreck. You can't look away.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want him as my coach, but I mean,
he's entertaining.
He's entertaining. I like him, when he does it. And people who know him, that's the thing. And even Lincoln said something last night about him. He was like, they're good friends. And he said, you just got to know him. That's everybody who knows him. And that's what people told me about the Bob Stoops retirement. People who really know him well got it. Like Bob got what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good, because he looked like a crazy person.
Yeah, but us, and people who don't know him.
So I thought I would be able to pick up on it, but no.
He's doing himself any favors. He's doing interviews with he hates all the radio stations. He doesn't like anything like that. So he's doing himself any favors either with local people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Nick Saban. People who know Nick Saban say he's hilarious. I don't believe that for a second, but apparently, if you're friends with Nick Saban, he's a hilarious guy.
Yeah, but no, I don't believe it either. So do you want to pick a score?
Okay, I'm gonna go with 55 to 28.
Almost close to
Let's
mine.
do 31. They're gonna get 31. I
did,
feel that.
I did 63-24 was mine.
So 28 or 31?
No, let's go with 28. They don't even deserve 31, and they, apparently everybody thinks they're drinking Busch Light, which caused me to buy this can of Busch Light.
See, so, and you've hurt Blinkin's feelings, so.
I didn't mean to hurt his feelings. I just think he does too much math, and something's wrong with his taste buds.
Yeah, he's supposed to be at the tailgate this week. He tweeted out he'll be there with Busch beer in hand. So.
I thought when he showed up with Busch beer.
Well, that's good. He's bringing the official Okie Light tailgate beer. You guys enjoy.
Like
I hope everyone loves it, because I'm about to go dump the rest of this one down the sink.
When he brought Busch beer to the barbecue thing, I thought he was joking that was his favorite beer. Because oh, that's funny. And he's like, nope, this is really my favorite beer. And he just kept drinking all that long. I offered him other beers. He said, nope.
Got
my Busch Light. I was like, all right, man.
And you open up his ice chest, and there was a whole bunch of.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be. But anyway, I don't remember the last time I dumped out a beer. So today's
such a waste.
Pretty crazy beer day for me. It was only $1.29. I paid for it with quarters. So
there's probably somebody, in an alley a couple miles away from you that could really use that beer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, except that I kind of live in the suburbs, and there's not that many alleys around.
Okay, well, I'm sure if you drive around and go hold that beer out. It would be
hot before I got to them.
Hold that beer out and say, free beer, I'm sure somebody would walk up and that needed it, take it off your hands.
Make sure they're of age,
Probably, but I think I'll just dump it in my rubber plant. They like beer. They don't care what flavor it is.
It might kill it, even if it's rubber.
No, it won't.
It's rubber, but still.
There's the rubber plant.
I don't know.
Which I don't know if you know the rubber plant. It's like a little tree, but it's not actually a rubber. It's, Anyway, they do like beer. And we have one at work that was given to us when the store opened by my boss who passed away. His mother gave it to the store when they opened. Oh. And then a couple of winters ago, it froze and we didn't think it was coming back. And there's this superstition that if the rubber plant's not making it, the store's not going to make it. So I brought this beer back from Austin called Peacemaker, and I dumped it in there, and then 3 weeks later, the rubber plant was growing again.
Nice. I mean, was that beer good? Was that good beer or was it bad beer?
Actually, yes. The Austin Beer Works Peacemaker beer is really good.
Okay. Well, so you're giving it Busch. So you think it might do the opposite effect?
Yeah, well, I'm dumping this one on the one at home. If my rubber plant out front at the house dies, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay. It's been dead 3 times.
So, hey, Adrienne.
Huh?
Did you know that they stopped selling ice in their drinks at OSU games?
No, why?
Because the student who knew the recipe graduated.
Stupid.
Oh, my God.
How many more do you have?
I don't know. Do you want to hear another one, Adrienne?
Yeah, go ahead. I need something to bring me back from my experience with this beer.
Why do Cowboy fans smell so bad?
Why?
So blind people can hate them too.
Oh, nice.
That's great. I love it.
I had one the other night. I know people who they've heard this one, but this is one of my favorites. And I hooked Rob right into it. That hey, did you know that because we started talking about music, and I said, did you know that the Backstreet Boys are playing at Boone Pickens Stadium this year?
Okay.
Yeah, they're 10-point favorites.
Oh my God, that's great though. I've never heard that.
Yeah, see.
Oh, that's great. But yes, I lovingly always refer to them as Okie Light.
Well,
and I hope that we.
So you're not recommending the Busch Light for a tailgate.
I hope everybody who wants to drink that enjoys it so much.
But you're not recommending it.
I am absolutely not recommending it. If you like beer that is good, I would say choose something different. Unless you trust Blinkin Riley more than you trust the goddess of beer and tacos, then you go ahead, because apparently Busch Light is the jam.
What's your recommendation? What would you say we drink then? What are you going to drink then this weekend?
I am going to be drinking this weekend. I've got some Coop Ale Works DNR.
That's pretty good.
And I also have some St. Arnold's Christmas Ale, because they just put the Christmas Ale out. And then I also have some Shiner Oktoberfest still left, so I'm going to finish those off.
Good Lord, woman.
Shiner's pretty good. Shiner Oktoberfest's pretty good. That Christmas one sounds interesting. I know the Coop ones, but all Coop stuff's really good, so I love the Coop stuff.
I'll be drinking.
The DNR is my favorite. It's really, really good.
I like the Horny Toad a lot. The F5 is pretty good, but DNR is really good too. They're all pretty good.
The F5 is a great IPA.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
not a big
had that
IPA
last
guy.
time I was in Oklahoma, so
I'm not a big IPA guy, but that's one of the few ones I like a lot because it's not too hard. It's not too dark. Like it's nice little.
The best
mix.
IPA I found, that if you're not a real IPA drinker, and I actually featured it on here, was the Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze IPA.
I think I've seen that before.
Now, it was not a favorite among the gentlemen there.
No.
But it was it's very good. It drinks much more mild than a lot of IPAs.
I'm trying to think of the Voodoo Ranger. What other beers do they do? Do they do the Purple Haze?
Yeah, the Purple Haze is really good.
That's them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Purple Haze is pretty good.
No. Well, Adrienne, we got to move on to the other folks. And
all right,
find
you guys
out.
have a good night.
Hey, and we appreciate it.
Enjoy that beer.
Enjoy all the 9 different flavors of beer you're having on Saturday.
Oh, I will.
Boomer, Adrienne.
Boomer.
All right, Sooner football fans. That was, as always, Adrienne the Forest Witch. She's always entertaining. That one went a little bit long because Caleb and her, as you could tell, hit it off pretty well with beer talk, and especially the craft beer, which I'm not a big fan of, but apparently they are. But now it's time for on our Tailgate Like a Champion for the Tailgate Ninja, Dan Donnelly from Tailgate Connect. Boomer Dan.
Boomer Terry.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great tonight. How about yourself, sir?
I'm doing good. So you're making the trip to Bedlam this weekend, yes?
Yeah. It almost cost me a lost daughter and a marriage to make it there, but I made it all work somehow.
Well,
so
well, all that means is that your priority's in line.
That's what I tried to say. When my daughter said, what, college football is more important to you than me? I said, no, honey, it's just more important than the dance that you're doing this weekend that I'm going to miss. So somehow with tears in her eyes, I had to console her. A Benjamin here and there kind of takes care of that.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I had to jump on to my oldest son on Sunday because him and his wife called during the middle of the Steelers game, and I was in here in the podcast palace watching the Steelers game, and Teresa hollers at me, and I go, "What?" And she goes, "Come here." And I said, "The game's on." And she goes, "Your son's on the phone." And so I walk in there. She has them on FaceTime with her iPad. And so I walk in the room. "Oh, my God, what is wrong with you? I raised you. You're 30 years old. You know not to bother me during Steelers game." And he's just rolling. He's like, "Well, we need to talk to you." "I do not care. Unless you're dying, she's dying, or the grandbaby's dying. There's no reason for it." So I have my priorities. So.
That's why I knew you and I got along really well.
Yeah.
Got our priorities straight. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, because he was the kid that before we could mount TVs on the wall 20 years ago, you had the big tube TVs in the room. He finally figured out he needed to drop and crawl across the living room during football games. So because don't walk in front of the TV.
Do not get in my way.
Right. So
that's awesome.
Where did you go last weekend?
Yeah, so last weekend was fairly tame. We went up to UC Davis, which is an FCS school,
right,
about an hour and 15 away from here. They're coached by Dan Hawkins. I don't know if you remember him, but he was at
Yeah.
Boise and at Colorado, and probably his demise at Colorado was.
It's the Big 12, brother. That was his.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
This ain't intramurals.
Right? That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So he's. I think he's found his piece and his place there. He's done a good job. They're 8-1 or 9-1 right now in FCS. They were ranked number 6 going into the weekend. So it was fun. I was actually kind of excited. They have a kid who's a wide receiver who will probably be picked on day 2 in the NBA, or not the NBA, the NFL draft.
Well, that's cool.
I've got ESPN on in the background and something popped up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kid's name is Keelan Dawson. Just an absolute man amongst boys in the FCS. So, probably like that Cooper Kupp kid with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
So we went up there, and beautiful day. It was like 84 degrees, shorts on, all that kind of stuff. And I was bragging to the crew that I went with that I had picked up this Bloody Mary mix. I was in this small town about 3 weeks ago called Grass Valley, California. It's up in the hills, and I don't think they named it for that reason, but if you drove through there now and you saw their agriculture, you would think that they named it Grass Valley for a whole different reason than what it was named for. And the people walking around look like they partake in that product that they grow up there. So it's an interesting town. But we were in a bar. Bar is called Sereno's, and they're all bragging about this great Bloody Mary mix that they have. You've got to try it. People all over the country and world are ordering this stuff. I'm like, okay, so I'm game. So I picked up a bottle. This is 3 weeks ago, and I was, waiting to try it out. And I took it up to our tailgate at Davis on Saturday. And I go, guys, I've never tried this before. I can only say that everyone's bragging about it. So we bring nice pepper-infused Absolute vodka, and I make up all my vegetables and bacon and all that good kind of stuff to put in there. So I make up the batch and hand everybody the cup, and they're all drinking it, and they're all trying to be polite. One guy kind of squirts it out real quick by saying, it's pretty good, but it tastes like A1 steak sauce. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. So if you ever have too much A1 on a piece of meat or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody was polite, and they actually drank that cup. Well, I found out the next day what I did wrong. That was not Bloody Mary mix. That was Bloody Mary concentrate. You're only supposed to put about 2 teaspoons in per glass and mix it with tomato juice. So everybody basically drank a cup of Absolute vodka, pepper infused with A1 steak sauce poured all over it. So yeah, it was pretty disgusting. I think we all had to up our blood pressure medication on Sunday after that.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a really good day. We made it through about the third quarter, and I needed to get back down here to put on the Oklahoma game.
And I don't want to talk about that anymore. I've talked about it and beat it through my head. You know what I mean?
Well, the only thing I can say is I had a bunch of yahoos in my backyard, put up 3 TVs in the bar, and most people were all focused on the LSU Alabama game. I'm the only one that's screaming at a TV, and they're looking at me like, "What's wrong with you? You have Tourette's or something?" Because they're just watching that one game. I'm the only one watching the Oklahoma Texas Tech game, and I'm screaming things, etc. But I mellowed out after a Jameson or 2, though.
Yeah,
so it was fine.
Yeah, it was me, Rob, and Caleb. It was just us here and my wife watching the game. Because. My wife's like, how many people are coming this weekend? And I was like, look, I'm good with just Rob and me, you, and Caleb. I don't, with the tailgate.
You don't need the whole crew.
Yeah, with the tailgate, every home game, and then the podcast and everything that we do all the time. And most away games we'll have other friends over. And I said, I don't, just us. And when that game was over, we were sitting there, and I was like. Me and Rob especially, and Caleb was getting vocal, but I said, Rob, I think that's maybe the quietest you and I have been watching an OU game that I can remember. And he goes, I was thinking the same thing, because him and I were just pissed. We were just mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It was
kind of surreal. I think.
Yeah, it was.
It happened.
and I know our offense put our defense in a bad spot, but the first one touchdown, they got the ball on the 3. Okay, you can give them that, but the next one, hold them to a field goal, for crying out loud. You didn't have to give up 2 touchdowns, and then just and then wound up in the fourth quarter letting the backup quarterback, who could barely throw the ball inside the stadium, keep it inside the stadium. He let they kind of let them pick them apart a little bit, but that's kudos to Kingsbury for adjusting what he was doing to a guy.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, we just need more of a statement win than that. And, this weekend and next weekend in West Virginia, we really need to make a statement, especially because most of the national pundits say that Oklahoma still has an outside chance to get in, even if it stays like it is. Georgia is going to lose. Oklahoma could still jump in there ahead of Michigan or ahead of Notre Dame if they have they beat people solidly, and the point being made is that Oklahoma wins 55-21, and Michigan wins 14-7, which is possible because they have no offense. Or 14-0, or something like that they're going to sit here and go, Oklahoma is the better team, and it's going to be more entertaining because everybody wants to see Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa, or whatever his name is. I can't say his last name. Neither can Rob, so we just call him Tagovailoa.
You pronounce that well.
Yeah, thank you. But
I agree with you. I mean, it was an ugly win, but it was a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
Doesn't mean that they didn't deserve to win. We forgot to get off the bus until about the 10-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah,
so I looked at it. Put ourselves in a little bit of a hole, and that the quarterback that got hurt for Texas Tech. Feel bad for the guy. I just saw
he's practicing tomorrow. He's practicing tomorrow.
He's darn good.
Yeah.
He is. He's really good, and he's going to be a force for the next couple of years in the Big 12. That's for sure. So, I just don't want to hear people say, "Well, the only reason you won is because Bowman was out." You adjust and you adjust to who the players are that are on the field at the time. So no one can really say that. It's it's unfortunate that he got hurt and we didn't get to play against him the whole game. But hey, we scored 52 points or whatever it was, right?
Yep.
51. Yep.
It's the frustrating thing is, and even Lincoln, said it was, I like what he said. He said the same thing we did, but more eloquently, which is what most people do. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. We could have done a lot of stuff better. It just wasn't good. And I was like, well, that's kind of like what me and Rob said and have said. We're average. Our defense isn't even good right now. It didn't play good. They played average or below average this past weekend. Correct. And they can't do that. They can't do it anymore. So
no, they can't.
But
and Gundy's always got tricks up his sleeve. So he's an offensive mastermind. So we're gonna have to bring it on Saturday.
Yeah, because there's no telling which Oklahoma State will show up. The one that beat Texas, or the one that got hammered by Kansas State.
Exactly.
I'm hoping the one that got hammered by Kansas State, because we'll still be scoring come Monday. So
exactly.
That's, you just don't know with that team what's going to happen anymore. But
no.
So
they're go ahead.
I asked Caleb this. What do you have a favorite Bedlam moment?
So you're not going to believe this. I've never been to Bedlam before.
I've only been to one. So
Okay, so this will be my my first in person, and so my favorite moment is going to be defined on Saturday.
Gotcha.
Tailgating with you and the fellas, and, clinking a few beers before the game, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll probably have about 3 people with me, so you need to tell me what I'm supposed to bring.
Just what we ask everybody to do is. We provide, if you want, I have Budweiser and Bud Light there. But if you want to bring your own drinks, that's fine. We don't ask people to bring food. If we had like a committee, yeah, we would do that, but it's just me and my wife, and Rob pitches in on it. But what we do is we get the food and everything, and we just have a tip jar, and you bring what you want to drink. But if you even don't bring beer, I'll have beer there. And
fantastic.
We just ask people to put money in the tip jar, and
fantastic.
So that's easier than, because one of them we did tell people, we'll bring this and bring that, and people come dragging up ice chests. I mean, I was like, and they parked like 5 miles away, and I was like, that's not good. We get there early, we get a pretty good parking space, and the university lets us pull right up to the tailgates and unload everything, and
right.
But we had a couple of ladies come walking up that came to one, and they drug an ice chest for 5 miles, and I was like, yeah, let's just tell people, we'll have ice there, so don't bring an ice chest, just grab you a 12-pack of beer or
bring
whatever,
a bag of beer or whatever it is that they need.
Yeah, so
perfect.
And my wife's we're gonna make a big old batch of chili. And
awesome.
So it's going to be a chilly day for it. I think game time is supposed to be 50 degrees. So, chili is the perfect thing for a day like Saturday. So we're looking forward to it. And looks like we're going to have a pretty good crowd come. We've had a lot of people. We put it on Facebook. I don't know if you see, I can't think of his name now off the top of my head, but if you've watched the OU games, you've seen the guy in the OU garb dancing with the
red and white striped outfit with the sneakers around him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure
do.
On Twitter, he's the OU man. He's coming by. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's going to come by. He actually was saying, I'm trying to become the fan mascot, or I can't think of exactly kind of what it was, the unofficial mascot. And I said, well, the best way to start is at tailgates. I said, everybody already knows who you are.
Right.
So, you walk around at tailgates and people will know, hey, man, I saw you on TV. So he's coming. I think Blinkin Riley's planning on coming by. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter, but
I do.
Yeah,
we follow each other on there. So that's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, and that when we got a bunch of other people showing up too. So friends of ours that are coming, and then fans of the podcast, and I'm excited to take you over and meet Buck, the Roughnecks.
The Roughneck. Yep.
He's the president of the Roughneck alumni. He's a good guy. So. And they tailgate, right next to us. So,
beautiful.
I think I told you. Well, the last home game, me and my wife stayed there. We loaded our stuff up and went over and sat with him and about 4 other old Roughnecks and watched the OSU game. So, there was no other tailgates there. It was just us. But
you might find me there after the game.
Yeah,
possibly sleep in that hammock that you promised me too. So.
Yeah, and but no, it's a great group of people around there.
Good.
Everybody has got to know. I mean, all the people that around us have been doing. They've known each other for years. We're the newbies, and
right.
Every one of them is just as nice as can be. They bring over, hey, come over here and try this. They come over and, everybody comes and tries everybody's food. And we don't have a lot of liquor there because I'm not a liquor drinker, neither is my wife. But all of them around there have liquor, and you can just walk over there and, drop $1 in their tip jar, and they'll pour you a drink. So
I'll be happy to make a lot of new friends
Yeah.
around you this Saturday. There's not too many spirits that I'll say no to. So,
Yeah.
Well, I'm fired up. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad I was able to pull it off because I know, back before the season started, I had this on my schedule, and have to tell a quick little story as to why it went off my schedule. But as you know, my middle daughter graduated from Oklahoma last year, and
Right.
she now lives up in Oklahoma City. So I called her, early, actually it was before the season, said, "Hey, I'm coming for Bedlam." She's like, "That's great, that's great." And about, 5-6 weeks ago, I called her on the phone, said, "Hey, just making sure you are going to be there when I'm coming in for Bedlam." And her response, as any 22-year-olds would be, is, "Duh, Dad, yeah, I'm going to be here." Well, come to find out, a few days later, she accepted an offer to go to her boyfriend's parents' house in Colorado Springs. And I asked a question. I said, "Well, what weekend is that?" Well, it turns out it's this weekend. And my darling daughter there didn't put two and two together that it was the same weekend. So I had scratched it off my schedule. Said, "Geez, well, she's not going to be there. I'm not going to go." But something was gnawing at me. And I know I went back and forth with you on it. And I'm like,
Right.
man, I really want to be at that darn game this year. And my wife has relatives. I'll be hanging out with her cousins on Friday night. There'll be two of them that are coming by with me. They're Sooners. Actually, three of them will be there Saturday. They're all OU grads. And so they'll be babysitting me. Won't be my daughter this time. So somebody will be in charge. But no, I'm fired up. I really wanted to be at this game this year, so I'll be there. But it doesn't mean I can't make fun of my daughter for not knowing how to work the calendar properly.
Oh yeah, or just call up her boyfriend and go, "I made a mistake." that's Bedlam week. No.
What the heck? I think I told you on my blog I've had for about 7-8 years an award on it. It's called the Bieber Award, named after that. I'm not even going to say what he is, but that guy Justin Bieber.
Uh-huh.
He's basically lived a disaster of a lifestyle for years and years, and every week he's in the news. So about 7-8 years ago, I came up with the award given out to somebody or something that had to do with college football that deserved a little extra attention. So, example last week was University of Maryland football, that whole disaster that took place.
Right.
So this week, the Bieber Award's going to go to my daughter.
There you go. And well deserved.
Well deserved. Missing Bedlam, blowing her dad off, and, anyways.
Yeah. Hey, Caleb, my youngest son, was born on October 6th. Okay. No, October 11th. Boy, geez. He was born October 11th, which is basically the second weekend in October. Okay. So I couldn't go to the OU Texas game for years because he had to have a birthday party. I hated that kid as a child. And my wife, she worked for a company that every other year we could have gone to the OU Texas game for free. She would have got they always offered her tickets. And there was another employee that would get them one year, and they would always ask Teresa, "He got them last year. Do you want them?" And we couldn't because his birthday was always falling on the second weekend of October. I could have went there, 10 times for free, free tickets. Yep. And they I think, if I remember right, they were attorneys that she worked for. She was an administrator at a clinic that they owned, and I think they paid for the hotel and took them all. It was their deal for their administrators and stuff like that. But nope.
That just gives me a sick feeling in my stomach. But I've been there too. So.
But I
like
will
being forced to go to a wedding. Go ahead.
I will say this though. I was so proud of him when he turned 16. We asked him, it's a big birthday party. Boys don't have Sweet 16 parties, but they have their big, I don't know what guys call it. But we said, it's your 16th birthday. What do you want to do? What kind of party do you want? Where do you want to have it? And he goes, "I don't want a party. I don't want anything. I want to go to OU, Texas." And I was like, yes.
Damn, you raised that boy right. You raised him right. Damn.
So for his 16th birthday, me and my wife and him and one of his best friends, made a trip down to Dallas for the weekend to the OU Texas game. So, but
God, that's awesome.
yeah,
I'd like that for my birthday parties.
but so what do you think about the game this weekend?
All right, I'm going to give my traditional offensive score, which I'm always close.
Yeah,
just on defense.
Yeah, it's the defense that we have problems with.
So I'm going 52-23. 52-23. They're going to come out with a chip, and Oklahoma State's not going to have a chance the entire game. And if you recall, I did say last week, I said when we go to Lubbock, I said Texas Tech's going to be fired up. First quarter is going to be tough. Well, I didn't realize the second and third quarter would be tough.
Yeah.
I forgot to look beyond that quarter, but I think this one, OU just jumps all over them and makes a statement. I think they're kind of tired of hearing that the defense isn't up to par. But 2 weeks prior, for the 2 games prior to Texas Tech, the defense was much improved, and they just started off in a hole and never really recovered on last Saturday. So let's see if they can get a couple stops in the first quarter, and then it's game over pretty quick. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I said, I just think it depends on which Oklahoma State shows up. If the if the one that played Texas shows up, which I don't think it will, it'll be a little bit tighter game. I don't think they can stop us. But the one, if the one that, like I said, the one that played Kansas State shows up, it'll be a bloodbath. I mean, it will, and it might be that if we jump ahead of them, 14-0, 21-3 or something like that, it may just be over then. So,
agreed. So I hope to be back out at your tailgate tent by the third quarter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can watch the rest of it from there, and be a little more comfortable.
Exactly.
So
beat the crowd.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dan, safe trips coming in here, man. We're looking forward to it. And
absolutely.
Like I said, just bring we'll have ice and stuff, just or an ice chest, just bring your favorite beverage. And
you got it.
We'll take care of the rest. All right.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it, Terry.
All right. Well, you have a good one, and Boomer.
Boomer, Terry.
Okay, Sooner fans, as always, Dan has some really good tailgate stories. Rob and I have said before, we, kind of envy his life. The guy travels all over the country to different tailgates every year. And that's kind of become a goal of mine and Rob's, is to be like Dan. But now we're going to talk about a little bit of tailgate food, as always. And we got on the phone with us once again, Tim Harless. Boomer, Tim.
Hey, Boomer, how are we?
Oh, hanging in there, trying to get through the day. And
hey, one step closer.
Yeah. So, one of the things I've been talking about tonight is I'm done talking about last weekend, but yet we end up talking about it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So, let's skip talking about Texas Tech, because I'm flat out tired of it. I was mad last weekend, and it just makes me a little bit angrier now. I'm glad we won. That's it. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you think about this weekend? Well, first off, do you have a favorite Bedlam memory? Let's.
Oh my goodness, there's so many, but it's got to be for me the most recent with P. Ryan taking the knee, mainly because nobody saw that coming.
Right.
I don't care what side of the ball you're on, if you're a Poke fan or a Sooner fan. Him taking that knee was the ultimate. It was a slap in the face of, we know we're better, we're beating the dog out of you, and yet we're going to have mercy on you. It's just, it was classic,
Yeah.
for me. So it was almost, when you watched it happen, you went, that's an instant classic. That's something people are going to talk about for decades, just because of, unexpected.
Yeah. There was a lot of choice words came out of my mouth.
Yeah, part of you, every one of us wanted to score.
Oh yeah, I will never forget. He landed. I come straight out of my seat. and I'm not sure what I may have spoken tongues. I don't know, but it was. What are you doing? You put that ball in the end zone against these guys.
Yeah.
And about 10 seconds or 20 seconds of ranting, then folks that hear it were their house, we just started laughing. Going,
Yes, absolutely.
That's just, it was, and I remember, and everybody has always said it was classy. The way he did it, he wasn't, and it was the way he wasn't boisterous. But on the other end, the fact that a guy, he could have turned around and walked backwards into the end zone. I mean, there was
absolutely.
nobody around him. And, so it's a great Bedlam moment because it was, even though it was meant to be classy and the way he did it, it kind of comes back like what you said. It's just a classic. We were stomping you so bad that we didn't even need this last score. So,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's the first time that both sides screamed unanimously, at the same time, what are you doing? Like OU fans were wondering, OSU fans didn't know what was happening. It was perfect. So, I mean, there's so many, especially recently. For me, I don't think it's felt more competitive, within the last 5 or 6 years, probably more so than it has, 88 years or 90 years or whatever. Just from the teams have been a little bit more fun to watch on both sides. But, you got touchdown catches in the corner of the end zone. You've got the -4-degree game they played up in Stillwater that year. I mean, there's just so many different, I think, elements outside of football that factor into this, because once it's on the field, relatively speaking, it's a pretty boring series.
Right.
Even to call it a series is maybe a stretch. So it's kind of all that extra added stuff that makes it so much more fun and so much more hated, and all the adjectives that kind of go with that.
Yeah, and say I can't really narrow down my favorite Bedlam moment because I'm old, and there's been so
that
many.
Dang memory keeps going.
Yeah, the memory keeps going. I can't give you dates and stuff, but in the 80s, there was so many times that Oklahoma State should have beaten Oklahoma,
absolutely,
and didn't. That was a lot of the Sooner magic. I mean, there was one. I believe it. I don't remember who the quarterback was. It may have been Gundy. But they had a tight end wide open in the end zone in the fourth quarter towards the end of the game. And, the ball hit him right in the chest, in the hands, and he dropped it.
Des Bryant dropped it.
Yeah, they should have won that game. And then there was one we were behind, and we were kicking an onside kick. And I think this was in the 80s, too. Maybe it had been in the late 80s or early 90s, but we were kicking an onside kick, and it hit a Oklahoma State player in the helmet. Okay, and and it was a bad onside kick. It was like a line drive. He hit it bad, and it hit the player in the helmet, or in the face mask, and bounced right into an Oklahoma player's hands. And we go down and score, win the game.
Yeah,
I mean. I couldn't tell you the years. I couldn't tell you the players that were involved, because it all just bumbles together. But there were so many of those games as a young adult and a old teenager with all my friends who were Oklahoma State fans. It was just like, you guys can't beat us. It's God is keeping y'all from beating us.
Yeah, you guys are just cursed. Last year even. Now that you say that, I remember. My wife and I had gotten some really good tickets. We're on the east side, and we're fairly low. We're close to sitting almost in the midst of a bunch of Poke fans. And I think there was a timeout on the field. I don't know if it was a TV timeout or what, but the ball, OSU had the ball. It went over to OU sidelines, and somehow Baker ends up with the ball. And he takes the ball. It's got his helmet in his left hand. He's got the football in his right. He throws the ball across the field in the air and he throws it so far, and he hits one of the Cowboy players like in the helmet or in the head or something. And of course he's just the Baker that if he's on your team you love, if he's not, you can't stand the guy.
Right.
and he is just letting them have it from across the field. And I caught myself when OSU had the ball, watching what Baker was doing on the sideline and the trash talk versus, OSU, whatever they were trying to do. So just, those little elements that, if you just watch it on TV, you're going to miss that kind of stuff. But, man, just the hatred. I mean, and even this week we've seen it with, Justice Hill talking about, he didn't even know who OU was and trying to it's like watching, the little neighbor or the little brother try to talk trash, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it still gets you riled up anyway.
Yeah. You just sit there and you just look at it and shake your head just like, oh, you guys should be quiet, okay?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Don't try to smack talk until you back it up and,
Yeah, absolutely.
And say, that's me. I'm more of, I have friends that are Oklahoma State fans. I have friends that are Texas fans. My daughter-in-law is a Texas fan. Mm-hmm. And I don't talk smack before the games, okay? Because I don't like to eat crow. So I don't ever eat crow. But when the game's over, oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not that I'm not confident in my team or in the Sooners or anything else. I just don't do it. That's just my take on it. But when the game's over, I get my phone out and I start texting my Oklahoma State buddies and, of course, never get a response back. And
absolutely.
Or it's double birds back or something like that. That's about all I get, but it still feels good. So, and the same with my daughter-in-law. I'll just text her and she won't respond back. But if Texas wins, like this year, I get a phone call. Yeah, she always calls me.
Every time you see her.
And she's not bad about it because she's just kind of like, ha ha. And I was like, yeah. And I always kind of, and I came back with, how's your Packers doing this year? Shut up, because she's a Packers fan. So,
wow.
But what it's supposed to be cold this weekend. What food do you recommend for a chilly October or November game?
Yeah, I know, it flew by, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this weekend, man, I'm a brat fan, particular a beer brats fan, and the way that I like to do it is you can use a skillet, but you need a grill safe pan. And chop up onions, chop up some peppers, throw those in the pan. You douse them with beer. For me, if I'm going to cook with beer, it needs to taste good, but it's not going to be expensive beer just because you're going to cook with it.
Right.
Pour about 4 or 5 cans worth of beer into the pot and then throw your brats in there. And I let those things cook pretty well. You want to boil. So you start with it that way. Once those things have boiled pretty well, and I mean you can tell when a hot dog or a brat is cooked, especially with beer like that. You take the brats out and then you put them on the grill, and then finish cooking them the rest of the way. Leave those onions and peppers and whatever vegetables you like to put on those. Leave those cooking while the brats finish up on the grill, and then just slap those things on some good rolls and some add the peppers back on. I'm a spicy mustard guy, kind of a brown spicy mustard, especially with brats, and it's a good way to get that beer flavor in it, but then still have that grill flavor, that grilled taste that you just can't beat with the brat. So
right.
It's simple. Again, simple cleanup. There's people who do weird stuff with brats. I'm not one of those guys. For me, it's simple. Some people put some sauerkraut in there. I mean, that's cool. It stinks. It's going to give you, incredibly awful breath for about 3 days, but it does taste good. So,
and
simple beer brat this week.
And brats go good with any beer, pretty much. Adrienne's beer this week was, and she was trying to be funny, was a Busch Light, because she calls Oklahoma State Oklahoma Light. And so she,
very nice.
Yeah, and she's never had it before, and she apparently made herself sick while we were talking to her with 2 drinks. She was like, "This is horrible," because she's the craft beer girl, And
Yeah, she's the highfalutin beer.
yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend cooking it with Guinness or anything like that. I definitely would go with more of an easy drinking beer versus something you might have to chew.
Yeah, but I said, that's the thing about brats and smoked sausages and stuff like that. They go good with pretty much any beer that easy drinking beer.
Yeah, that beer flavor is what you're looking for.
Right, and it's always a go to for everybody. Brats or sausages or something like that. But this week the wife is she's cooking up a big batch of chili for the tailgate.
It'll be a good weekend for her.
Yeah, she's gonna cook it up here at home on Friday night, and we got those little aluminum warmer deals with the cans of fire. And we're gonna get there early and get them under that cans of fire, which is still amazing to me that you have a can that you can light on fire.
Yeah.
with this, some type of fuel gel in it, but it works well, and we're going to keep it warm like that.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be she was like, all this year, she's like, one of them I'm going to make chili for. And I was like, well, then let's make it the Oklahoma State game because it'll probably be cold for that game.
Yeah, it will be. Absolutely.
So it's going to be the perfect weather for us for it. But are you going to get to make it to this game, or are you going to be baseballing it again?
Well, we've got my boy's got spring tryouts for baseball, but we're having his birthday party this weekend. So,
jeez, man,
I will watch the game, and then there'll be party prep because it's not till Saturday evening. But yeah, we'll be watching the game. We'll be at home this weekend.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about Oklahoma State in this game this coming week? What do you think is going to happen?
It's the year that scares us because they realistically don't have a shot. I mean, there's just even the diehard OSU fans will be probably slow to say, if we can do this and this, we can probably make a game of it. And that part scares me because we've all seen Bedlam. We talk about how OU winning games they had no business winning back in the 80s, and stranger things have happened. But they can try to stop the run, which nobody has this year. And then you've got the Kyler Murray X factor and throwing it. And I just don't think they can guard the receiving core that we've got. They can try to stop the pass and just open it up to the run. And I think OU could win the game without passing the ball one time. So,
oh yeah.
Gundy hasn't really proved himself to be a leave it all out there type coach. We've my favorite's when Sam Mays gets going. He's seen him wave the white flag during games before.
Yeah.
So, I think he's probably more of a safe coach than a gambler, and so I think for them to even be in the game, they're going to have to take some gambles. So I really don't see it being close at all.
So what's your score prediction then?
I'm going to go. They average so many points. At some point, you feel like they won't reach that average. I'm going to go 52. I'm going to go 52-17, maybe 52-21, somewhere right around there.
Okay, you can't go 17 or 21, man.
Let's go 21. We'll give them an extra few points there.
Yeah, that's about what everybody is picking is around that range, 52, 55. Caleb actually thinks Oklahoma's going to score 66 on them.
Okay.
And he's like, and his whole deal is like, nobody can stop this offense. He goes, they can't. They were, and his point's great. They throw 2 interceptions, get 14 points behind, and end up scoring 52 points and win the game.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the first. I'll be honest. The first time, going down 14-0 Texas Tech typically is a killer.
Yeah, I mean they're able to.
You usually can't catch up.
Right.
I really didn't even have that feeling of crap. It's out of hand. Even as frustrating as it was to kind of watch parts of that game and. Bad officiating and stupid penalties and whatever you want to throw in there. I just never had that oh crap feeling.
Yeah.
Which was weird, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was mad. I was upset, but I mean, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was quiet. It was one of those games to just sit there going, oh, and, and and another thing, you're talking about the penalties and stuff. I got news for you. Somebody spit in my face. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have done more than and I'm surprised that Ford didn't do more. If that referee may not have got into there as quick as he did, it may have been ugly. Yeah, because that we were trying to figure. It wasn't until people put it out on Twitter the last couple of days. You see him spit. We thought he like blew in his ear or called him a name as he ran by real close or something like that. But it's clear that he spit through his face mask and
yeah. And to be honest, in an environment like that, we've all heard the stories about how Texas Tech is down there and the fans and that kind of stuff. I'm fine with the penalties on the offensive line. I like the offensive line being nasty and being protecting their players. Give me more of that. And then some of those penalties, like with CD, they came out and said that they were wrong.
Yeah,
and so you factor that in. They're even in that game for the first two turnovers, and then because of the penalties. And so, you got 18, 19, 20, 23-year-old kids, male athletes at the prime of most of them at the prime of their existence as far as athletics go. Man, that testosterone's going.
Yeah.
And so when somebody takes cheap shots and all the stuff that we just don't see, like with the spitting in the face until later on, they show far more restraint 98% of the time. And so for there to be some lapse in judgment or some just, they finally had enough type moment, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a violent sport. So
I liked what Lincoln said last night at the coaches show at Rudy's. We were there and Toby Rowland asked him about that. And he said, there's a line that you don't cross. And so he goes, but I would rather be over that line like we were, not too bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were egregiously jumping over it. He goes, I would rather you be walking that line or stepping over that line as long as it's not too, doesn't just tear up than to be completely opposite. He goes, you don't win as many road games as we have in a row without having that type of attitude. He goes, it has to be that attitude. Now, you got to be smart with it, but obviously I think in the game times he's more not hey, you got to be smarter, you can't make those type of mistakes. But then you see those guys in the end, or you see them on the sidelines, they're telling them, hey, keep your head on straight, but you're good. You know what I mean?
You and I were talking this week about that offensive line is so good.
Oh man, it's so ridiculous.
I think at times there are things that look like they should be penalties. Like if Ben Powers is blocking somebody 9, 10, 12 yards down the field and then pancakes him at the end.
Right.
I think a referee, an official goes, there has to be something wrong with that. Like that can't be that he's just that much better.
Right. And
so they kind of start to look for things that may not be there as well. And I'm not saying that's the case for all of it, but you got guys who are just, they could all go play anywhere they want to and start. So I think there's times where they're just that much better. We've seen that at the high school level. We've seen that at college and pro. Some of those guys are just that much better that it almost is like, well, they've got to be cheating. There's no way they could be, they've got to be doing something dirty to be that good.
Yeah. And, and even, Greasy, as much as people didn't like the broadcast and stuff, he said it, and I can't remember their sideline guy's name last weekend, but he said, sitting here, it was in the end zone. He goes, sitting here watching from the end zone. He talked about the offensive line, and he goes, this is a violent group of men. He goes, they are flat out just tearing Texas Tech up right now.
Yeah, and I loved it. I think it was Todd McShay.
Todd McShay, and he said it just like that. He goes, this is a violent group of men. They are just beating them up. And we were. And if you really, we all tend to, I try to watch more of the line because that's, what I played in high school and stuff. But we all wind up, looking at the backs and everything else. But if you sit back at some point in time and just go, you know what, for 8 plays, I'm going to watch this offensive line and not watch anything else. Just watch what happens. And dude, it is, it is bad. It is just.
Yeah. It's almost like an art or a piece of art. You just sit back and go, they do what they want to, and then you've got a running back who's doing the same thing to them.
Right.
Stiff arming them into the ground and just taking their best hit and not moving. I mean, it's the most demoralizing. It's like constantly having P. Ryan take a knee. Like, you can't do anything about it. Like,
or if you do happen to get through the line, Kyler turns around and runs away from you for 15 yards.
That's my favorite part.
Makes a big loop around
in the backyard. He's 7-on-7. He's just there, and please let him rush once.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like those couple plays he didn't juke and go out to the side. He turned around and outran them backwards, and then outran them to the corner. To the edge, and made 6 yards.
Yes, where that defensive lineman thought he had him in the backfield, and he's thinking, I got him. Oh, God, I don't got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
he's just that fast.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's like, I think they were even saying, he's, it's debatable whether he's the second fastest player on the field, because
I think he's the first. I think he's the fastest guy every time.
Yeah, I think he's faster than I just went blank. Hollywood. I think he's faster.
Hollywood.
Because you see Hollywood really break away, because he's already pretty much got him on the deep balls. You know what I mean? But you literally see Kyler outrun people. You know what I mean? I mean, you see it from the beginning. That run against Texas was just, that 65-yard run, and I can't. Somebody on Twitter, one of the news guys, did a deal, and he ran that 60 yards in the equivalent of like a 4.340, full pads, and he even slowed up to fake a cut.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you don't expect it either. I mean, you expect a wide receiver to be fast. I mean, that's kind of so when you see a guy who's not a wide receiver be as fast as he is, it's mesmerizing.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, well, Tim, man, I got your score, and not that it means anything that we're going to keep it and charge you for it at the end of the year if you or anything, but
I haven't been right yet. So as long as we keep going,
one thing we have figured out is that none of us me and Rob can't pick scores, and neither can you guys. So
absolutely, I'm fine with that.
And then Adrienne will send me a message on Facebook. Hey, I got my score right this time, didn't at 10:00 at night. I'm like, I don't know. Well, can you go look? I'm like, no. And I had to tell her, do not, at 10:00 at night on Saturday when I've been watching football all day and I'm still watching football, I have beer in me. I don't want to get up and walk to the back room to see if your score was right. And I'm not going to.
No, I was close. It wasn't the Tech game. It was the game before. I was close on that one, but even then, it's your best guess. I mean, nobody can figure out who's going to. I mean, OU can name their score, and OSU may be lucky if they do. So if you nail it, you're just lucky. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, and we also got to go along with the Busch Light that Adrienne cannot stand. We have your beer brats, which go good with anything. So.
Absolutely. Realistically, don't drink the Busch, just cook with it.
Yeah. There you go. All right, Tim. Well, hey, man, have a good weekend, all right?
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Boomer, man. There you have it, Sooner fans. Our buddy Tim with the simple and easy but always favorite beer brats. You can never go wrong with a beer brat at a tailgate or a backyard barbecue or anywhere, but especially a tailgate against Oklahoma State. But now we have the man himself ready to give his take on the Oklahoma State game this weekend. We got hype man Harry. Boomer, Harry.
Boomer, guys. How are y'all tonight?
Good. Doing good. I said Rob got stuck at the Lloyd Noble Center doing some type of work. He sent me a picture, and it looked horrible. So, the Lloyd Noble Center looked good, but whatever he was doing didn't look like any fun. So he got stuck there doing some work for the for the university this evening. So, but I've been trying to avoid, Harry, talking about the Texas Tech game because I really think everybody needs to move on. It's kind of hard not to, but and focus all of our efforts on our the terrible guys from up north that want to be us so bad. What do you think about Oklahoma State's team this year?
I really think that that they have a solid base on the start with as far as their Gundy. I think that he's doing a great job. I think that obviously he's the all-time winner in wins down there, so he knows what he's doing. But I think that he's losing this fan base really quickly. So it's not just losing to us; it's the other things that he does along with losing to us. Like he's going behind their back talking to Tennessee. He's not getting along with their athletic director. Ours is, of course, Joe Castiglione. He doesn't have the best relationship with theirs in Stillwater, the golf coach. So it starts at the top. It's got to start at the top, and he knows what he's doing. He's a smart coach, but as far as on the field, I mean, he just cannot sometimes he just can't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
So
he's not one that I don't think he really wants to. He's at that comfort level with his job that he's just going to say what he wants. And, the devil be with you if you don't like it. And, which is, kind of the attitude that, not kind of, that's the attitude Nick Saban has and a lot of other more tenured coaches that are successful. And I think Gundy has been so successful at the job and I believe it's the only one he wants. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. And he is that comfortable that, I'm going to say what I want when I want. And, he's not worried about any repercussions. He never says anything foul or incorrect. He just speaks his mind. So, I've grown to kind of like him. Sometimes his press conferences, are pretty doggone funny. So,
yep.
They're entertaining to say the least. But
I agree. I was listening to Todd and Dylan the other day on the franchise, and Todd brought up one of the most amazing stats that you think about it, and you and I have been gloating about how good their Gundy has been.
Right.
You realize he's only won 2 games in this series?
Oh yeah.
And their winning percentage is actually as bad as it was, and as many times as we beat them, it's actually gotten worse since he took over.
Right.
But still, I mean, he thinks that he can walk on water. He thinks that he can do what he wants to do. He can go flirt with other teams. He can make fart noises.
Yeah.
And he can wear his mullet, and he can go without a shirt on, and he thinks he's the greatest thing to hit Oklahoma State, and he is.
Yeah.
But he's only got 2 wins in 10 series, and 10 or 12 times.
Right.
That's not going to cut it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just it's a different level of expectation up there than it is here and at a lot of schools, and that's what I think upsets Oklahoma State fans is our level is, if they lose to Oklahoma every year, they're not happy about it, but you know what? They won 8 games or they won 10 games and they're going into a bowl and they're happy with that. They haven't had that much success there for this long of a time in years. So they're in an era that they've never been in. You know what I mean? They're not used to this much success. They're still, we're not beating Oklahoma, but you know what? We beat Texas this year and y'all didn't. Oh, so what? I mean, when you go head to head's what matters.
They've beaten Texas, Rob. It's not just this year. It's the year before, and the year before, and the year before. They're finally beating Texas.
Right.
I guess they did last year. I was about to say they should have last year, and they did last year.
Yeah.
So I guess because of the out of bounds play. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah.
That game was actually in Austin.
Yep.
I think it was in the first or second. It was like in the first or second drive of the game. I'm like, that guy's out of bounds.
Yeah. And what that's the one that Ellinger threw the interception right to the Oklahoma State guy.
It was the game-winning interception back at the end zone.
Right.
Yeah, in overtime.
Yeah.
So, you can just forget about what I just said because they made up for it with the interception.
Right.
But yeah, but I mean, he's doing this and he's beating Texas, and every once in a while, like we talked about, he's beating Oklahoma, but he's losing to Kansas State, and he's lost to Texas Tech, and so he's doing good things, but then he's doing bad things.
Right.
He's kind of like the corn dog.
Yeah.
He does all these good things, and you're really proud of him, but sometimes he'll just have that game or so to where maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but
I think it.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of it. Think about obviously this year's kind of a conundrum, but or kind of a must, a mulligan for them, if you will. Think about last year. They had a lot of big plans last year. They lost to TCU and Oklahoma. You can't blame them for that.
No.
But what you can blame them for is the third loss. And by the way, all three of them were at home.
Yeah.
Oklahoma and TCU, those two teams ended up playing in Arlington for the Big 12 championship. Don't blame them for that. But then the third loss that they had, look in their wounds with, you knew who that was too, Rob?
Who was that?
Kansas State.
Ah.
Kansas State.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't lose that game. You don't lose to. You do not lose to Bill Snyder in Kansas State unless you are not fundamentally smart.
Right.
Particularly now that they're on a little bit of a downhill. And that last year, Oklahoma State, that game, they were not fundamentally smart.
Right.
And it ended up biting them.
Yeah. But every year they're good for a loss like that. Their Fiesta Bowl year, they go throw drop an egg at Iowa State on a Thursday night.
I'm going to say that I felt real bad for him that game, man. I mean, I know that we're OU podcast, but man, you're up by 14 points. This is your time, Rob. You watched that game that year.
Yeah.
We were down. We were down. Landry wasn't himself. Our offensive line was bad. Brian Broyles was already done for the year, and everybody was picking Oklahoma State. Game day. Oklahoma State. That, and I think Herbstreit even said, this is their year. This is Oklahoma State's year. Came on and said that. They're up by 14 in Ames, late in the game, fourth quarter. They are, if they win that game, it's not an Alabama LSU rematch.
Right.
It's not. It's Oklahoma State in Alabama.
Right.
No question to my mind. Because you cannot, and I think you're going to, like we talked about last week, you're going to run into this conundrum if Notre Dame does not lose.
Right.
Because at that time, Oklahoma State still is in a top power conference. And you cannot leave a power conference, or in this case that we're about to talk about, Notre Dame, if they're undefeated, you cannot leave them out.
Right.
They won't let it happen.
Right.
You go back even a couple of years later, TCU and Baylor. If any one of those teams don't lose, if TCU doesn't lose that game to Baylor, and if Baylor does not lose that game to West Virginia, if any one of those two scenarios do not happen.
Right.
And I will say this, till the day that I die, even with as bad as Baylor's non-conference was, and it was terrible, and it still is bad. I think that they're trying to get better a little bit at Waco, but still, it was bad. They would have not played Michigan State. I think it was Michigan State in the bowl game, in the Cotton Bowl. They would have been in the CPF. I promise you. Because again, they're not going to leave. Even if it's Baylor, they're not going to leave out a Power 5 conference out of the college football playoff.
Right.
And same thing to say for Notre Dame. If they go undefeated, they're not going to leave them out of the college football playoff. There's particularly with Notre Dame, maybe not with Baylor, but particularly with Notre Dame, there's too much money there.
Right. So
there's too much.
What do you think what do you think the chances Oklahoma gets in this year? Are we going to be the fifth team out this year?
Let's see. Let's go over them then. Alabama and Clemson. Probably going to have Notre Dame. I think that they're better than Syracuse and
USC.
Who else have they had? Florida State.
And they got USC. Yeah. They still have USC to go to.
And USC. I think that they're better than any three of those teams. So Notre Dame. And then who's fourth?
Michigan.
Georgia? No, they're fifth. Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh. Now that one right there, circle that one with a big dot, Rob, because that one could get interesting.
Yeah.
And hear me out now. What if the other Ohio State wins? Then they go back and say, well, which loss is better? Is it going to be a Texas team who's surprisingly to me, Rob, even with is it 3 losses now, and they're still ranked in the CPF that is the most important.
Yeah.
3 losses. And they're all bad losses.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the West Virginia one's not, but the other 2 were really, really bad losses. They shouldn't have lost Oklahoma State, and they definitely should not have lost. But by the way, we talk about how bad they were. Still, the Mulligans, I'm going to kind of give them a mulligan on both of them. Think about this real quick. It's homecoming, and it is, and I love our homecoming too, Rob, but it is the best homecoming in college football. And they brought all that enthusiasm, all that excitement into that stadium.
Right.
And the other loss, whether you want it to be or not, you played, I played, I was caught up in the same situation, not in the same situation, but a situation quite like to what they were caught up in Maryland. One of my high school buddies loved him to death. Probably one of the first people to come and accept me as an outsider, coming from Fort Worth, Texas, to elementary school. So we grew up together, right? And so we grew up together all the way through high school. And then his senior year, Rob, it's homecoming. Is it homecoming? I think it's homecoming because it's during football season, right?
Yeah.
It's homecoming, and there's a situation that comes up off the field with a couple of our Lawton Eisenhower students, and there's underage stuff involved. And he's killed. He dies.
Yeah. Oh man, that's terrible.
That year brought us together.
Yeah.
Circled us around it. And the exact next year, we had a little bit of trouble beating Lawton Eisenhower because, when it's a 5A and a 4A school going after each other, there's a difference in size. Well, it's the OSU factor.
Right.
Sometimes OSU is the better team, but besides the fact is that OU is always going to have better talent,
right?
Just because of who they are. When it's a 4A and a 5A school, the 5A school is always going to have a better talent. So obviously we're already behind the 8 ball. But my senior year that we played was the first year without Austin, and we probably played our toughest. We didn't win the game because, like I said, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're tougher. But we played our best game. We played for 40 minutes for Austin. It doesn't matter at that point. It doesn't matter if it's for whatever. We play for one reason and one reason alone. And when that is the absolute first game out and you have nothing to lose, that adds a little bit more to it.
Right.
So I'm not going to say it was right or wrong or the mulligan or whatever, but in that scenario, it is really hard to do, and Texas couldn't do it. By the way, particularly with a guy that had already had, what was it? He'd already been knocked out 2 times because of concussions. Is that right? Once or twice? I know we did it to him.
Yeah.
Was he knocked out again against Oklahoma State 2 years ago?
Man, I
I know
can't.
that he was knocked out against Oklahoma.
I can't remember.
He was either knocked out again, or he was kind of not all the way back against Oklahoma State, and then he got hit again.
Right.
But I mean, that's just my thought on it. You know.
Yeah.
You can take it to me with you, but the point is they do have 3 losses and they're still ranked. Or are you going to give the upside to a Purdue team that is they have one more loss than that with 4 but nobody cares about that conference in the Big Ten. That's what it's really going to come down to. In that scenario, it's going to come down to Michigan and Ohio State. And if Ohio State wins, which is what Oklahoma fans need to happen, listen to me here, Sooner fans. You need that to happen because just like we've been talking about Texas with 3 losses and how bad they were, right?
Right.
That Michigan loss is actually a good loss. You learned something from that loss on the road. Was it on the road at Notre Dame or was it a home game?
It was
I don't remember.
I think it was a home game. I think they got beat at home, if I remember right.
But I mean, at that case, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because if it comes down to one loss between Notre Dame, who's undefeated in Texas, you're going to go with Notre Dame.
Right.
But if it's a decision that you have to make between a Ohio State team that lost to Purdue or an Oklahoma team that lost to Texas, then you have a little bit more leeway to play with the numbers. So
well, if Michigan loses, to Ohio State, which is what we need to happen, we're in. I mean, they're not. Nobody's going to jump us. That would be almost unprecedented. That if we went out, that you get jumped, the number 6 team. Georgia's going to get beat by Alabama. That knocks him out, and Michigan's got to lose.
We're next up.
Yeah,
we're the next one on the list.
Right.
If that were to happen, yeah.
And if Notre Dame, which I still think Notre Dame could slip up against any team they're playing, even though it's Florida State, but you can always hope. But they still got Syracuse and USC, and they got to play USC out in the Coliseum, and you never know what's going to happen out at the Coliseum. So, USC, they beat Washington State there.
Yeah,
and
that's
they beat
their only loss, by the way.
And they beat Colorado. They beat Colorado at the Coliseum. Yeah. So.
You realize that, Rob?
Yeah.
Cougar.
Yeah.
So Mike Leach Cougar.
Yeah. They're
now,
only.
if it's not for that one loss, I mean, I'm starting to wonder if it's the Pac-12. I don't think the Pac-12 has as much heavy power, but still, you're not going to leave out an undefeated power conference.
Right.
You're just not.
Right. And
no matter how low they are when they started the season, the year.
Yeah, but we need a lot of help to get in there. But it's still possible. I think it's what everybody wants to see. That everybody wants to see Alabama and Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl. On New Year's Day. For that first semifinal game. That's the game everybody wants to see. They don't want to see, Alabama and Michigan. They don't want to see that. They want to see Oklahoma and Alabama because you got the 2 best players in college football going to get to go head to head.
Real quick, Rob, before we start the OSU talk, let me ask you something, big man. All right?
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying here. What if last year, right, after they beat us, it's Georgia and Alabama, right?
Right.
And their mobile quarterback for Alabama, the little option kid.
Yeah.
What if he doesn't struggle? Right?
Right.
Alabama wins without him struggling, and then Tua doesn't even start
right.
the national championship game. Is he still a Heisman front runner right now?
That's a good question.
I mean, not that, but is the Heisman race between he and Kyler a little closer?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you don't know. I mean, if they didn't struggle in that game, but Tua came in and won that game for them. I mean, if he doesn't come in, that game was over.
Mm-hmm. And remember this too, whether you like it or not, whether you like them or not, it's like you guys said on your podcast. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before. If there's football on, you're going to watch football.
Right.
And that was the only football game on was the national championship game. There's
Right.
no other bowl games. If there's football game on, above football, if there's a basketball game on in a football game, you're going to watch you're going to watch a football game.
Right. That's just how it is. That's how I'm made.
That's just how it is. So if everybody else has the same thought process that you do, they say, I'm going to watch the Charlotte Bobcats and the Thunder, or I'm going to watch Alabama and Georgia, even though I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to watch Alabama and Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to watch football because I want to see if Alabama can lose.
Right.
Or if Georgia can win. And at that point, you're watching the game. They struggle. They put in Tua. He brings them all the way back. I'm saying if that doesn't happen, is the race a little closer?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it might be. That's just me. The Heisman race, that is.
Yeah. So, what's your score? What's going to happen Saturday?
I think that we can. You know what? I'm not going to go against this team. I'm not going to go up against us when it scored 50 because we haven't done it. We haven't scored less than 50 in a while. Even last time we did it against Texas, if you give us another couple of minutes, we do score 50. And, by the way, we win the game.
Yeah.
I just want to say that. We just need a couple more minutes. But, so, with that being said, you can't go against the Sooners not scoring 50. So, let's say 50 for Oklahoma. And then Oklahoma State, you know what? Let's go 28. Let's go 28. It's a touchdown a quarter.
So you got 57.
That's kind of getting.
You said 57-28?
50.
50. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Caleb picked Oklahoma 66-21. So Caleb.
That's pretty.
Everybody,
we're pretty close.
Yeah, everybody else is right around, Adrienne's got 55-28, Dan's got 52-23, Tim's 52-21, you're 50-28, Caleb's got 66. He thinks we're just going to run all over them, which I think will probably happen too. But I'm thinking about what everybody else is. We're going to hang a half 100. We need to keep them under 21 points, so I'm going to go. I'm going to go with 58-21 is what I'm going to take. So, and Rob doesn't get a vote today, so. But,
you can edit him in later.
Yeah. But, all right. Well, Harry, you going to swing by the tailgate on Saturday?
I'll be there.
Well, great.
I'll be there. It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah,
right?
we got a good group of people going to come out this time. Not that, it sounded like I was saying the people that normally come out aren't good, but we got more people coming out this time. And we got some friends coming in from Arizona that are big Sooner fans that'll be here. And we got some semi-celebrities that are going to be there, some Twitter celebrities that are going to be there. So it'll be a good day for everybody. But as always,
quick, Rob.
Go ahead.
Real quick, big man. I just want to remind everybody to crimson, your red. That's what you're wearing to the game if you're a Sooner fan.
Yeah.
The University of Oklahoma has already asked for that to happen. So let's make that happen. Let's crimson out the arena.
That's what we do. Harry, as always, good stuff, brother. And we will.
Love you, Rob.
All right, we'll see you Saturday, buddy.
All right, buddy. Boomer, right. Sooner.
Boomer. All right, Sooner fans, that's it for Tailgate Like a Champion, our Oklahoma State edition. Everybody, if you're coming out to the game on Saturday, swing by and say hi at our tailgate. We're on the corner of Boyd and Jenkins. Be a good time. Don't worry about bringing anything. Just bring yourself. We got plenty. Look forward to seeing everybody. Let's go Sooners. Beat the Cowboys. Boomer Sooner. Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Hit the subscribe button right now on whatever app you're listening to to download every episode as they come out. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and on YouTube. Boomer Sooner.